Hello, epic viewers from around the multiverse. Prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another riveting, captivating, stellar unboxing video is about to be brought to fruition. What item might be unboxing? What item might be opening? Without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to elicit the box. What item is encompassed inside this bulky, hefty, tangible, nifty box? Let's find out. I'm going to demystify the answer to that inquiry right here, right now. So bear with me. It will only take me billions of picoseconds to extract the item from the box and subsequently flaunt it in front of the camera for you to feast your glorious eyes on. Here we go. The unboxing process is about to commence. The unboxing process is officially underway. What item have I prompted? What item have I drawn forth? What item have I elicited? Let's find out. The box is now devoid of its contents. The box can be relegated to the trash. It can be consigned to the trash. Nevertheless, we still have a meritorious item in front of us, in front of me, I should say, that you're vicariously viewing through my perspective, or through the perspective of my video camera. We have the Mozar action figure. Apparently he's the leader of the Triceraton army. He's part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dimension X action figure line. Is he stupendous? Is he a paradigm of perfection? Is he the embodiment of resounding perfection? Is he the epitome of perfection? That's subjective. That's up to you to determine. You can assess his merits. You can determine whether he warranted a premium price or not. Apparently there is a myriad of action figures within the prodigious action figure line he's a part of. You can see some of them on the back. Of course, we have the Triceraton action figure. I purchased a plethora of them. I'm going to be unboxing the other ones in upcoming videos. I purchased a myriad of Mozar action figures so that I can create my own Triceraton army. You may desist from doing that. It could be a bit pricey. Here's the old variant of the Triceraton. I believe he was released in mid-2004, 2005. Do I prefer his aesthetics, his sculpt, his deco, his shadings, and his textures over the new Triceraton? Of course I do. I believe he supersedes this aforementioned Triceraton figurine in every facet. Here's the Triceraton soldier. The Mozar action figure is also less bulky, less heftier, less masculine when compared to the 2004 or 2005 Mozar action figure, which I do have, by the way. It's flaunted on one of my shelves. I don't even know if you can see it. It's right there in the corner. It's relegated to the corner. Maybe I should bring it out for this video. Why not? Why not add more value to the video? Alright, so he was released amid the early 2000s when the standards in the action figure industry were unprecedented. They were increasing. Today they have plunged. You can see the difference. Your hard-earned money back then got you a blaster, a superior figurine that trumps this figurine in all facets. Today you get a variant of Commander Mozar, the leader of the Triceraton army, that is scrawnier. They really skimped when designing this figurine. Why do I say that? Well, unlike the old Commander Mozar, his feet are hollow. This figurine has hollow feet. I'm going to open him and render the hollowness of his feet transparent. He's also not as intimidating. I mean, one is significantly shorter than the other. It's unequivocally easy to distinguish their differences. I wonder if I have to unravel any twist ties. I hope I don't. Actually, I have to unravel one. I spoke too soon. I made the arbitrary assumption that I would not face this calamitous situation. This is a traumatic moment. I'm just exaggerating. It's no big deal. It's not very distressing. It's not traumatic. Now, why not purchase the older variants of the Triceratons, you may ask? Well, the primary reason why I don't is because they're significantly more expensive than duplicate figurines of Commander Mozar. from the new 2012 TMNT series. Just to verify, I would like to present a form of evidence. My statement is not spurious, it's not fraudulent, his feet are in fact hollow. I just vindicated my point. You can unequivocally tell that his feet are hollow. In stark contrast to the new Mozar, the old Mozar doesn't have hollow feet. He has 2 peg holes embedded in the bottom of his feet. This figurine does as well, but they really skimped on the plastic. He could have had plastic fillings embedded inside his feet. I mean, look how much less plastic this figurine is comprised of, in stark contrast to the other Commander Mozar. So he's just going to be utilized as a peon or as a foot soldier. I'm just going to roleplay that he's a Triceraton soldier. Of course, a Triceraton warrior from either the late 1980s or the early 1990s, whenever it was released, is superior to this figurine. But that figurine in particular is extremely expensive, so I really don't mind having a plethora of Commander Mozar figurines from the 2010s decade. Since they're relatively cheap at the moment. Of course they're expensive. These figurines are somewhat shoddy. What are my other gripes appertaining to this figurine? He lacks knee joint articulation, he lacks a diaphragm joint, he lacks elbow joint articulation, his head is not relegated to a disc joint, his tail can swivel or can rotate somewhat, which is always a welcome feature. He can rotate at the waist, he can't perform an ab crunch, he just looks scrawny, in stark contrast to the other Triceraton, or to the other Mozar action figure. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. One of them is closer to 4 inches, the other one towers over the 2012 TMNT action figures. This Triceraton Commander stands at least 5 inches tall. On the other hand, this one is short in stature and stands closer to 4 inches tall. So it's disappointing that the standards have plunged. It's disappointing that the standards have diminished post Toy Biz becoming defunct, but it is what it is. Hopefully with 3D printers, the standards will be unprecedented one day. Hopefully you'll be able to procure a figurine of this caliber for under $3 and print them out in your own living room. But that may never be the case. I just would have preferred if he came with an accessory. He doesn't come with a blaster or anything. It's pitiful that he doesn't come with any weapons, no armaments, he doesn't come with any armor. This figurine is pretty much armed to the T. He has a metal claw that he could utilize to wreak havoc against his adversaries. He can maul them, beat them to a bloody pulp, rip them to shreds. He also has a blaster. He could unleash his projectile if you so choose to. It has a button embedded on the side. His tail is also bulkier, it's more heftier, it's longer, it's elongated. This tail is just minute. Despite his flaws, I do like his horns. I love how they're protruding out of his head like they should be. He emulates the appearance of a Triceraton. I just would have preferred if he was taller. He also has some spikes protruding out of his shoulder pads. It's not a bad figurine. I just would have preferred if he was upscaled and more refined. I would have preferred if he had more points of articulation. I would have preferred if he was less hollow. I would have preferred if they didn't skimp with accessories. I mean, he doesn't even come with any accessories. It's pathetic in my opinion. I mean, we should receive unprecedented value for our money, or at least have our expectations met. But I mean, it is what it is. You either concede to what the market provides, or you buy at the second-hand market, or alternatively you don't buy at all. But I mean, I guess he's not an abysmal figurine. If you could procure him for under $10, for $15, I would deem him to be an atrocious figurine. But for under $10, as the almost $9 figurine, I would rate him to be a 4 out of 10. Now I have a proclivity to relish. I have a proclivity to relish TMNT action figures, so I'm more apt to find this figurine to be appealing. However, if you don't have a propensity to relish the TMNT franchise, then the figurine may not eminently appease you. But objectively speaking, I mean, I would rate him to be a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10 at best, for a nearly $9 figurine. But if you have a proclivity to love the TMNT series, if you have an inclination to love TMNT merchandise, and perhaps you would deem this figurine to have a bit more merit, perhaps you would rate him to be closer to a 7 out of 10 or a 6.5 out of 10. But because he's an affordable price at the moment, because he's under $10, and because the other Triceraton figurines are so expensive, I'm going to purchase more of him. I think that his textures are decent, I think his paint applications are decent, I think his shadings are decent. I mean, my only major gripe about this figurine is the hollowness, is the lack of articulation, is the lack of accessories. I also don't like the idea that his fingers are pre-posed. He should at least have fisted hands if he's not going to come with accessories. You can still slide something in there. If you have accessories from another figurine, you could try to maneuver something in there. Maybe a shuriken. I know it would be a bit unusual, but I guess it's better than nothing. Perhaps you could utilize a sickle. I have a sickle, but I'm not going to try to maneuver it into the aperture between his fingers. Here we go. I just equipped him with one of the blasters from the Clone Troopers. But this is not his innate default weapon. He should come with his own weapon. I shouldn't have to swap out the weapons of other figurines and deprive them of their armaments just to arm this guy to the T. But it is what it is. Does he denote insipid mediocrity? Does he embody insipid mediocrity? Well, that's subjective. I just think he's relatively mediocre, closer to being shoddy. He's decent, but he's just not up to par with the figurines released amid the 2000s. I hope that the standard reverses. I hope that it amplifies in the future. I hope that it becomes augmented. I hope that it doesn't diminish and further plummet. But if it does, then this may be the 4th best or 5th best Triceraton figurine that the world ever receives. But hopefully that trend will be reversed. It's just a looming issue that consumer gets less value for the hard-earned dollars. But it is what it is. You either succumb to what the market provides, or you don't buy anything at all. You can vote with your dollars, or whatever dollars you're able to retain from the fruits of your labor. The sovereign individuals are extorted out of a fortune, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's the world we live in. But your discretionary income that you could actually retain, you could allocate it towards procuring this commander, or this Triceraton Mozar figurine. So I do like the fact that his wrists can rotate. I do like the fact that his arms can move inwards and outwards. I do like the fact that he can strafe if he so chooses to. See him strafe. I do like the fact that his stomach is sturdy, even if his feet are hollow. So there are some positive aspects to this figurine, but as a totality, he's just mediocre at best. He's not on par with a Marvel Legends figurine that retail for the same price as this figurine, but he still has some merit. If you're an avid TMNT fan, then this figurine will likely tickle your fancy and appease you. So I hope that you found this video to be intriguing. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.